more than we are seeing. So I'm wondering, and I was asking Antoinette, how come we do not have a full room, and how come I'm hearing other value chains? But I think that is a discussion for later. And it's supposed to be a SHETRADES program, and I see a lot of men in here. But we can actually assume that the businesses are being supported by men as well. So let me go straight to deliver the opening remarks so that we can get to business. But first of all, let me send regards from the CEO, who isn't here because he's also out there on equally important assignments. So the trade advisor for West Africa, Ms. Victoria Allard from the British High Commission, our esteemed partners from ITC, SHETRADES, and DHL, participants from cocoa value chain and the agribusiness sectors, friends from the media, good morning. It is a privilege to be here at this very important workshop on logistics, management, and export pricing, which is specially dedicated to strengthening women entrepreneurs in the cocoa sector. Looking ahead to our journey, or looking back since 2023, we have made significant strides in empowering women to establish themselves in the cocoa industry and secure rightful place on the global market. The Ghana Export Promotion Authority has remained committed to building capacities of our women entrepreneurs and helping them overcome the many challenges they face on their export journeys. But before I proceed, I would like to extend my deepest appreciation to the ITC, SHETRADES, and DHL for this significant collaboration, which aligns to our shared goals of promoting inclusive trade and enhancing the capacities of our women entrepreneurs. The chocolate industry is one of the most valuable sectors in Ghana exports landscape, contributing significantly to our economy. As you know, Ghana is renowned for its premium cocoa beans, a significant ingredient in the world's finest chocolate. The transformation of these cocoa beans into finished high-value chocolate products is an area where women entrepreneurs are playing an increasing important role. Our gathering today marks an important milestone in our joint efforts to increase women's competitiveness of the SMEs in the cocoa processing industry. For SMEs to thrive in international markets, they must master logistics management and export pricing, which forms two critical aspects of international trade. Setting competitive pricing has become a challenge for many women-led businesses. High production costs combined with fluctuating international market prices make it difficult for entrepreneurs to price their products in a way that sustains profitability while maintaining market appeal. Through our export school programs, we have provided targeted training and support to help women entrepreneurs to develop their businesses. These efforts, including training in export procedures, packaging standards, and market entry strategies, equipping them with the requisite knowledge and tools needed for success. Now, thanks to our partners, with our partnership with ITC, SHETRADES, and DHL, we are organizing this two-day workshop on logistics management and export pricing to further equip you with the necessary knowledge to help you make significant improvements in your businesses and its operations. Over the next 2 days, our experts facilitators will guide you through interactive sessions, sharing practical insights and best practices on effective logistics management and strategic export pricing. This workshop represents a critical step towards addressing the logistical challenges that continue to hinder our growth. With this expertise from our partners at DHL, we are confident that our women entrepreneurs will leave here with enhanced knowledge on how to streamline their logistics operation, reduce costs, and set competitive pricing that will enable them to thrive in the global market. To our women entrepreneurs here today, I want to say that you are the future of Ghana's chocolate industry, and your perseverance and innovation are essential in our country's success on the global stage. We believe in you, and we are committed in supporting you in overcoming every challenge, every step of the way. Once again, we thank ITC SHETRADES, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Netherlands, the UK International Trade Department, DHL, for organizing this important workshop. And I wish you all a very fruitful and productive session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Samuel Dentu. Before I call on the next person to give us his remarks this morning, let me pass this piece of information to all of us here. This event workshop is being streamed live on Ghana Export Promotion Authority's YouTube channel. And so if you have members who are not presently here, you can send that to them so they can also participate in this very event. Thank you very much. The next person that I call upon to give us his remarks this morning is Mr. Lawrence Atipo. Mr. Lawrence Atipo is the National Program Coordinator of ITC. Please let's put our hands together as he mounts the podium to deliver his remarks.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished partners and participants. It's my honor to be here this morning to kick off this important training on export pricing and logistics under the SHETRADES Commonwealth Plus program, which reflects ITC's mission to empower women-led businesses to thrive in global markets. As many of you may know already, ITC, the International Trade Center, is a joint agency of the UN and WTO. Our core focus is to support small businesses from developing countries like Ghana in becoming competitive in global markets. So this workshop exemplifies our mission and underscores the critical role women entrepreneurs play in Ghana's economy, particularly in the cocoa sector. This workshop is part of the SHETRADES Commonwealth Plus program implemented by ITC in partnership with GEPA and with support from the United Kingdom's International Development. So we are happy to have Vicky here. I would like to take this opportunity to express our gratitude to our donor, the United Kingdom's International Development. We also extend our thanks to the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, GEPA. Mr. Dentu, please pass this on also to the CEO. Our esteemed host here and the driving force behind the SHETRADES Hub in Ghana. We are grateful to our strategic partner, DHL. Happy to see my good friend here, coming all the way to train, and to all the remarkable women entrepreneurs with us today. As you know, cocoa is at the heart of Ghana's export economy. And as Mr. Dentu said, A lot of the export strategy expectation rests on processed cocoa. So you form really a key aspect of this, and the expectation on you is quite huge. At the same time, women-led processors and chocolate makers often face barriers that hinder their full participation in the international marketplace. I cannot preach to the converted. You yourself experience it. These challenges, as you know, range from understanding the complexities of export pricing to navigating logistics and meeting the strict standards set by international buyers, and these continue to increase. That, in addition to access to beans, I'm sure if we open that now, there will be a lot of discussion. So you have to deal with all these. But we expect that as we are here today, over the next 2 years, this workshop will provide you with the tools, knowledge, and networks necessary to overcome some of these barriers and build stronger, more competitive businesses for you. It is our expectation that the training will provide you not just the theoretical knowledge, but also actionable strategies and resources you can immediately implement in your businesses. We hope that through this workshop, you will enhance your competitiveness and contribute to the continued growth of Ghana's cocoa sector, which remains the cornerstone of the national economy. I would also like to emphasize the importance of the connections you will make over these 2 years. Our partners from DHL and GEPA, along with your fellow entrepreneurs, represent invaluable resources to tap into. The relationships that you build here can open new doors, offer solutions, and provide peer support. Collaboration is a key ingredient to business success. By coming together and sharing experiences, you will strengthen each other's businesses. This is your platform to ask questions, seek advice, and find ways to collaborate beyond this workshop. In closing, I encourage each of you to fully engage in this workshop. Interact with the experts. Absorb the knowledge and actively consider how you can implement what you learn to grow your business. Let's make the most of this opportunity to position your businesses for success in international markets. We at ITC remain open and willing to continue this journey with you until we can build very important brands of you in the cocoa industry. We pledge that. Finally, I would like to express our gratitude once again to the United Kingdom's International Development for their generous support, and to GEPA for being a strategic partner of ITC and for hosting the SHETRADES Hub in Ghana, empowering women entrepreneurs to trade more effectively and boost exports. And of course, to our partner, DHL, for all the support. I thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Atipo. The next person to deliver an opening remarks this morning is in the person of Ms. Victoria Allard. Now, Ms. Victoria Allard is the representative of the British High Commission, and she is the trade advisor for West Africa. Thank you very much.
Hello, good morning, everybody. It's an honor to be here, so thank you very much for the invite. As was just mentioned, I'm here representing the British High Commission. So I wanted just to first thank GEPA for the institution of the SHETRADES Ghana Hub as the host, and ITC for co-hosting this workshop with the support of the UK. And welcome everybody, welcome participants to the workshop on export pricing and logistics. I hope it's going to be a really informative couple of days. So just as an overview of the workshop program, the next 2 days promise to be very informative, address some of the key barriers that women-led businesses face in enhancing their competitiveness in international markets. And through a combination of trainings, practical sessions, case studies, insights from industry experts, the workshop will provide tailored guidance on how to leverage the price of your company offerings to maximize your competitiveness. And it will inform how to streamline logistics processes to keep costs low and efficiency high. And I'm looking at DHL to provide all of that information for us. And together, the strategic pricing and logistics systems can be significant in gaining that competitive advantage in international markets. And in addition to hearing from the leading logistics companies and experts in the field, you'll have the opportunity to engage and learn from one another, which we know is really, really valuable. And these peer-to-peer sessions can enable you to share experiences, identify best practices, challenges, and come up with those innovative solutions to enhance your competitiveness. I'd like to introduce another really valuable resource that has been co-developed by the ITC and Sidley Austin LLP, which is an Emerging Enterprises Pro Bono program, and that's with the support of GEPA under the framework of the SHETRADES Commonwealth Plus program funded by the UK. And this is the UK-Ghana Export Procedure Handbook, which I'm just going to hold up here as a sample. And this particular handbook focuses on Ghanaian exports in the cosmetics sector. And this is intended for the UK market. However, we hope that it will serve as a useful market information tool for other sectors as well. The purpose of the handbook, so it's been designed to explain the key and relevant legal and regulatory requirements intended to simplify the complexities of the export process and provides a clear roadmap for navigating these requirements. And I'm sure you're all thinking how complex it is to export, so hopefully this handbook will just provide a little bit more clarity for you. The handbook offers comprehensive coverage of several critical areas, so outlining the Ghanaian regulatory requirements necessary for exporting, including business registration, licenses, authorizations. It also provides essential information on preparing to export, including terms of sales contracts, product classification. And most importantly, the handbook provides guidance on how to avail lower tariffs under the UK-Ghana Interim Trade Partnership Agreement. And so under this agreement, the UK commits to providing immediate duty-free, quota-free access to goods exported from Ghana. And the handbook explains how to claim that preferential tariff rates by providing information on preparing origin declaration. So that's essentially proving that the product is made in Ghana, and then for it can qualify for those duty-free, quota-free access to the UK market, and therefore really boosting competitiveness amongst Ghanaian products. It also simplifies technical regulations that SMEs must comply with to enter the UK market, which I know is another really, really big challenge that a lot of companies face. And that's from restrictions on the use of certain ingredients, intellectual property rights, product sustainability, packaging, labeling, amongst others. And it also provides information on related topics such as voluntary certifications, value-added tax, customs and related procedures, as well as transport and logistics as well. So what are the benefits of the handbook? So the handbook recognizes that women-led businesses, particularly SMEs, often face additional barriers in accessing market information. And the regulatory framework governing exports is incredibly complex, which I'm sure you all know, and often necessitates resources to professional exporters and aggregators. And what we're hoping that this handbook will do is address some of those challenges by breaking down the complexity into simple, easy to understand steps to enhance market understanding of users and thereby supporting you to enable to export directly without having to go through all these myriad of professionals and everything else. Moreover, the handbook is forward-looking. It offers an overview of new regulatory requirements that may be applicable in the future, enhancing market information, and enabling you to prepare for upcoming challenges as well as those that you face today. And to make the resource as practical and as user-friendly as possible, we include relevant links to access the most technical requirements applicable to the cosmetics products intended for export. And it also includes a comprehensive checklist of questions and issues to consider when exporting to the UK market. So we anticipate that the handbook will be an invaluable tool for Ghanaian women-led SMEs exporting and wishing to export in the cosmetic products to the UK. This will by facilitating access to necessary market information, which in turn will support smoother and more efficient market access. So whilst the handbook focuses on the cosmetic sector, several sections of the handbook will be used to gain information on exporting across other sectors as well. So we strongly encourage you to utilize the resource to its fullest and take advantage of the opportunities that it presents. And we have some samples here today, which we've left around the room for you to have a look, and final copies will be distributed at a later date. So with that, thank you very much for your time this morning, and let's kick off the workshop, and I wish you all the best of luck over the next couple of days. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Victoria. We are now going to zoom into the workshop proper. And like I said earlier, this workshop is being streamed live on Ghana Export Promotion Authority's YouTube channel. And so you can send the link to your colleagues in the office so they can also participate in today's workshop. It is very, very important. And for those of us who are in this room, I believe you've all been given books and then pens and all that. Please make sure you take copious notes of everything that you'd be taught and then jot down all your questions. The resource persons are here to assist you with any question that you would have. This morning we are handling the export logistics management. Export logistics management. And the resource person to help us handle this very important topic is Mr. Maximilian Effa, who is the program manager of DHL Go Trade. Please, let's put our hands together for Mr. Maximilian Effa.
All right. Two. Hello? Morning? Okay. All right. And again, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here with you all this morning. And again, thanks everyone for participating, for all the here. Again, our regards and our appreciation to ITC SHETRADES, to GEPA, and very importantly to you guys, you the SMEs, the entrepreneurs here today. We're going to start first and foremost by jumping into the art of logistics, as we like to call it. The art of logistics is a module that is, let's call it a warm-up into what is logistics all about. and how it, in one way or the other, it affects or it plays a role in your business. This is, one moment. Okay. So this is a certified module. Again, don't worry too much about this element over here. We'll deal with it with our partners at the ITC. But then the most important part is where you are able to complete the entirety of the module. We do give a certification from DHL side, highlighting the fact that you went through this learning journey. Let me start by introducing myself first, and then I'll also introduce my colleagues from DHL. My name is Maximilian Efa. I am Ghanaian, first and foremost. But then I am based in Johannesburg in South Africa. I'm responsible for DHL Growth Rates Initiative in the Middle East Africa region. I think I'll just pass it on to Morris and then Victor.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm also Morris Awarija. I'm based in DHL Ghana, and I'm with the Go Trade team, and I'm a champion for the country. Thank you. Now I'll pass it over to my colleague.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I am Victor Okulujaba from DHL Express. I'm based in Ghana and from the Express division and part of the Go Trade team and a champion from the Express division. Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you. So both Victor and Morris are also managers in DHL in terms of the commercial side of the business. But what we do in terms of Go Trade is largely to support SMEs engage in global trade. DHL, we engage in the global trade. We're a service company, which means that for us to continue to thrive, we need businesses like yours to continue to thrive, right? So it's a win-win for everybody when we are supporting entrepreneurs like yourselves. Okay, so let's jump straight into it. Oops, is that me? All right, so what we're starting with is part of a larger learning journey. But the learning journey is it has a modular approach, so we can pick and choose which modules we want to use. For the purposes of today's engagement, we are starting with the art of logistics. And I want to start with the warm-up activity. In the sense that I want to hear from you. These sessions we are going to do today are very interactive. I'm going to rely a lot on your insights and your inputs. So let's start first by checking from you guys. What would you prefer to do? Would you rather hit the gym, or you want to get home and sit on the couch and sleep? Maybe watch a bit of movies. What? Sleep, okay. Gym, okay, there you go. Any other choices? I think I'll take maybe two other options. Gym, sleep. Gym, sleep. Sleep. Hey, yo. Gym, aha, yes. I need my gym people in here. One more, maybe. Gym? Fantastic, yes, gymming is the way. All right, next one. Would you prefer to watch a movie or read a book? Books? Movies? Movies, okay. Say again? Something relaxed, so definitely a movie. That you can watch a movie and sleep also. All right, so what do you prefer? Do you prefer to be in nature or you prefer to be in a city? Nature, okay, that one is unanimous. And finally, would you rather prefer to have the most economical logistics partner or the best that you could possibly have when it comes to moving your products? Best or economics? Economic, aha. Economics? Both. Fantastic. Let's jump straight into it. What we just did now is the introduction, just a little bit of getting to know each other slightly in that sense. This first session is going to be broken down into two areas. The art of logistics is where we're starting, session 1. Session 2, that will be done by my colleague Morris with your logistics partner, and certain elements that you should pay attention in doing that. We are not emphasizing the use of DHL here. We are looking at elements where certain things you should look at, right, in choosing who you're working with, certain notes that you should make, and so on and so forth. Then we jump into the closure for this part of the session, right? We expect this to last an hour and a half approximately. Cool? All right. this first session, 3 key objectives. For one, we want you to be able to describe the world of logistics. Now, that being said, the world of logistics is very broad. There's a lot going on in it, in some way or the other. Some of you have already, I actually believe most of you have already shipped internationally. So you do have some impression as to what it's all about. Beyond that, we want to identify the capabilities and resources that you need to support your business, especially when it comes into the world of logistics. And finally, how you are going to manage certain critical aspects of your logistics within your business. Right? Okay. Session 1. And sorry, I use my hands quite a bit, so if I move away from the mic a bit, just bear with me. I'm gonna start with a bit of a video.
Have you ever wondered about how all those things came to be there? How this season's must-have item reached our hands? What kind of case could carry a shop full of cases to people who need cases? How many people it took to make them? Even how that drink is always ready to go. Wherever we are, pretty much everything around us has been brought together by careful coordination and planning. The unseen power of getting things here and there. It's what drives business and delivers the products and services we use every day. It's called logistics. Every week around the world, businesses move billions of items from here to there, and from there to there, and there, and there, even there. All sorts of things. Big, small, edible, fragile, whatever that is. Urgent, valuable. Yes, even very special items. Logistics is working out the best way to connect the points. What it is, what it weighs, how it's handled, where it's from, where it's going, when it's needed, and what's the weather like. Managing all that is logistics. But how did it start? Rewind to the 13th century. Genghis Khan's army was organized and powerful. An empire spread over an area from Central Europe to Japan. Getting information to the front line was what we'd call today a logistical nightmare. So Genghis Khan came up with a system. He set up thousands of staging posts, 30 to 60 kilometers apart. Messengers rode between them, carrying documents to be passed along the network. So his generals always had the latest orders. When they reached a staging post, the next messenger would take over. We'd call it a relay. He called it the yam. Documents could travel from Karakoram to Trebizond in less than 4 weeks. That's over 200 kilometers a day. In fact, Genghis Khan had developed a system of logistics. Merchants were allowed to use his yam for free until they overloaded it, and then fees had to be introduced. So logistics started as a way to move information and became a valuable tool for trade. But it wasn't until the 15th century that we saw the first express logistics, when horsepower gave way to sail power. With a strong wind and friendly seas, a clipper like this could reach speeds of 40 kilometers an hour, crossing the Atlantic Ocean in just 6 weeks. Great if you're exporting cotton, they're still not so good if you're selling bananas. So logistics evolved and began to speed up, and it got smarter. The 40-foot freight container is an example of one of the greatest developments in logistics. Standardization. Every freighter, container truck and dockside in the world is designed to handle this metal box. And the same goes for aircraft. Inside, you'll find standard-sized cargo units designed to swap easily from one plane to the next. So different types of cargo, different types of customer need, require different forms of transport, often in combination and always well chosen. Try to ship him to China on a bicycle and you'll be in trouble. And that's where Deutsche Post DHL Group comes into play. In Germany, we have Post and Packet Deutschland, serving the domestic market. DHL Global Forwarding and DHL Freight handle larger moves across the globe. For complex, just-in-time, and services like warehousing or assembling, we have DHL Supply Chain. And for the booming e-commerce logistics sector, we have DHL E-commerce Solutions. And speed, that's DHL Express. And when you put us all together, we can deliver anything in the world. Yeah, even him. And his lunch.
Yeah, including his lunch, which is very heavy. Okay, so just post this one. Just one moment. All right. What are some of your takeaways from the film? Any ideas? Any thoughts? So it would be great if this is another mic. Perfect. Hello? Oh, if you just put it behind. Awesome. What are some of your takeaways from the film? Any thought? Yes, please.
Exports, form of exports that was from the beginning till recent world.
Yes. Spot on. Thank you so much. Any other ideas or any other thoughts?
And also the evolution that has, happened over the decades because of, our changing needs. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, please.
And hello.
Yes, you can hear you.
Movements have been easy because of logistics.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. All right, I'll probably take one more thought, and then what about standardized? Yes.
Okay, so what I got from the video is the company has in some way connected the world in one form in terms of transporting goods, and also based on the product being transported and the agency of the transportation.
Yeah.
There's something in store.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, and very valid answers indeed. Another thing I'd probably like to point out, I hope it came across also, is standardization and how standardization helped moving volumes, right? Which means most likely for your enterprise, if you have a package or you're moving something in a particular way that is out of the norm, you tend to see that it becomes a little bit more complex. Let's use the containers, for example. Remember the element there where they were speaking of 20-foot containers, 40-foot containers, right? It's whether 6 meter or 12 meter long. In Ghana, we use the containers for other things also. A shop, just in front of my house or something. But then those containers, that standardization of the containers means that for a vast majority of products, I can put it in this kind of container or that kind of container, whether it's high cube, whether it's dry, whether it's a reefer container and that kind of stuff, right? So just something that I'd really like to use to highlight what is very important in terms of understanding that whilst logistics is very old, it's a very, very old industry or sector, going as far back as time itself, has evolved to this point where what makes it work really well right now is standardization, right? So again, keep that in mind when you are looking at shipping cross-border or internationally, where you want to standardize certain things, the way you package, the weights of your products, and so on. Now, when you're talking about logistics in itself, you see here that we've spoken about commercial activities of transporting goods from goods to customers. Goods to customers, here we're referring to chocolates. I don't like too much chocolate because I've eaten it a lot. But then I still like chocolates. And the thing being, moving chocolate from Max Incorporated, any business you name? All Safe. So for All Safe chocolates, going from All Safe chocolates based in Ghana to, say, a consumer somewhere in Switzerland or in France, right? So long as there's a commercial transaction taking place there where they bought it over in France and then they need that shipment or that chocolate to move from Ghana to whoever it is in France, that's something that you consider that there's a logistic element in there, right? Now, in that sense, when it comes down to logistics management, you're managing the entire flow of from the time that a product was created, it's been created, it's done, it's been publicized online in one way or the other. Somebody buys it, let's say, using the internet. From the moment that they've made that transaction, that I want your product, now you need to think about, how am I getting this product to this person, whoever in the world that they are in? More often than not, it is not your forte. Unless you've been doing it before, more often than not, it's not what you do every day. So it becomes confusing or complicated in a sense. But that's that movement from, okay, someone made a purchase, I need to deliver it off somewhere else. Every single step in between there is what we are referring to when you're talking about logistic chain in that sense. So, and there's a couple of things that is important you take into account, right? Depending on the volume of what you're moving, you're looking at things like your warehousing. You're looking at things about how are you packaging your products. You're looking at things about how they're being transported. By air, meaning is it going to go by a plane? Is it going to go by a ship in a standardized 20-foot container or a 40-foot container? Is it Ro-Ro? Anyone has any idea what Ro-Ro is? Yes? What is it?
In terms of cars, it's when you don't put your product in a container, but it's on the ship. Yeah.
Thank you. So roll on, roll off. Usually you see it for vehicles, right? Not sometimes it's vehicles, but you also see it in bulk, right? So now, assuming you're moving corn, and you're moving tons and tons and tons of corn, you're no longer putting it in 60 kilo. There's a whole machine that's just pumping it into a whole, vessel. But also you're looking at things like your information systems and how you manage your order processing. So you may have seen things that are called like a PO, and there's a reason why you do that. So you can map that company A has bought ABC products under this commercial invoice or under these terms and so on. So it's important that you keep in mind at least all of these things. Warehousing, yes, sometimes you may think my business is not so big enough, so I don't really need a warehouse. But where are you storing your products? Is it in your garage? Is it in your kitchen? Is it, in the container that you have in front of your house? That is still a warehousing solution, and which means that if that is how you're doing it, you need to take into account certain things. Like, is the temperature in there right? Are there any insects or animals that could come in there and damage your product? Is it safe from the elements? Rain, sun, all this kind of stuff. Wind, sometimes the wind can just blow away all your products. So these are all things that you need to take into account when you are thinking of the logistics process of your business. Keep in mind that we're talking logistics side, so everything that has to do with how you're creating your product, how you're refining it, all of that, it may be all good. I want to highlight something on the packaging area, right? So on packaging, more often than not again, we think that we have a nice little package like this. here's a nice little package. My product is in here. It looks good. Fantastic. But this alone is not sufficient for international shipping, because this is part of the brand positioning of your product in itself. If you ship it internationally, it needs to be packed in such a way that it can withstand global shipping. Remember standardization again. So this would be punks, and maybe it would end up at a destination that leaves it damaged. So that's something that we'd want to start off from that end. Now let me ask another question. Right now in your enterprises, and I want you to reflect in your own enterprises, what are some of the biggest challenges that you're facing today? Cost of logistics. Cost of logistics, how expensive it is to ship, right? All right. Anything else? Yes, at the back. Storage and handling, so warehousing. When you say handling, explain it a bit more.
When the product leaves the factory, how it's stored and handled outside the factory, the conditions under which it's stored and handled,
absolutely,
would be a huge problem.
Absolutely, yeah. And then I'll probably take one more thought. Yes. Thanks.
Okay, so certification and authorization of the products in certain countries.
Absolutely. Regulation, there you go. Regulation can be a headache, eh? All right. So thanks a lot for sharing these things. Yeah, so handling, cost logistics in terms of the kind of documentary regulatory compliance required by some countries and everything. These are all challenges that you tend to see, problems that you'd face. And again, I'm sure these are real problems you're facing today and not problems. A couple of things that you could take into account when you face challenges or problems of this nature. For one, and these are things that you can use to strengthen your logistics chain. The first thing I'm going to start with is consistency in paperwork and correctness. I think that speaks to your comment of regulation, right? The first part is, when it comes to logistics, sometimes it can be like a spaghetti bowl. If anyone's familiar with the concept of a spaghetti bowl, there's so many things, there's so many areas, there's so many knowledge points that it's just confusing. And if you look in a spaghetti bowl, it's like you don't know where this one started and where this one ends, kind of thing, right? So you need to try and get to an area where there's consistency in your paperwork. What that means is, remember what I started with standardization? So consistency in paperwork, I'm talking about things like, do you have a standard weight classification for your products? Is it always going to be, let's call it 250 grams, or 250 grams, 500 grams, 1 kilo, for example? It's consistent in that sense, right? And then when you're saying consistency in that sense also, are we also looking at it from 250 grams net, 250 grams net, but then when you weigh it, it's showing that's 230. Because whilst you may not pick up that, okay, it may be an issue of concern, when you say, for example, you hand it over to an LSP or logistics service provider like DHL, we would check it and we would see that there's that inconsistency between what's on your commercial invoice and the actual weights. And so we may push it back to you. If we don't do that, customs gets involved. And you'd not think too much about it, but then there's kind of like a tick on this person's name, right? So in the entire sphere of logistics, that consistency is important. Consistency and correctness is important. The other thing, I'm going to come to duties and taxes and LSP, logistics provider also, but other things, looking at your costs, right? Now, when you're talking about your costs, many times, and this is something that we've seen with SMEs and entrepreneurs, you don't capture the entirety of your cost. For whatever reason, sometimes you're only looking at your input costs, you're looking at the cost to, say, the packaging for the products and branding, and that's it. But there may be a lot of other costs that you are disregarding, whether it's your overhead expenses. Are you factoring in your own salary? You need to factor it in. You're not working as a charity, right? So you need to factor all these things in, for instance. Because where you fail to do that, cost of insurance. Are you actually even taking insurance when you are shipping your products? Because when you fail to do these things and something goes south, all of a sudden you see your profit margin, which percentage-wise, let's say, used to be 50%, all of a sudden it's in the red. And I say profit margin in quotes because margin is very ambiguous. You can have a 50% margin, but you're only making 2 cedis on the product, right? So it's that's another conversation, though. I think you'll do that tomorrow when it comes to logistics pricing. The elements of regulatory requirements is something that's absolutely important that you understand. What are the regulatory requirements to export out of Ghana? What are the regulatory requirements to import your product or get your products to the United States, for example? If it's an agricultural-based product, do you need an E-Phyto certificate? So a phytosanitary certificate. Do they accept an E-Phyto certificate? Are there any FDA regulations, Food and Drugs Authority of the US, that you need to comply with, for instance? The question is, are you aware of all these things? Because failure to be aware of them means that your shipment may end up going there, you spent all that money to get it there, and they don't deliver, or it is destroyed because it doesn't meet the requirements. And then it gets into a bubble of, man, it was too complicated, something went wrong, I don't understand. Yeah, so it's important that you understand these kind of regulations areas. Customs clearance is another big headache for a lot of entrepreneurs, and it can really affect the quality of your business or the quality of the delivery experience. Because customs serves, there's a different module we're going to do this afternoon, but customs serves multiple purposes in the work that they do. The purpose of customs is not to make money, right? For a long time, that is the mindset. That was, let's take it WTO, let's take it GATS days, right, years ago. It's not to make money. Part of it is to make some income for the country, but also to support domestic enterprise. So when you're exporting a product from Ghana to, say, Togo, and Togo slaps on X percentage of tariffs, they're doing it so that they can secure their own domestic economy. The same way Ghana, we will apply certain tariffs to products that are being imported, because if they don't do that, whatever is being imported, if it's too cheap, would wipe out the domestic economy. So there's that area that you need to take to understand what are the regulations on customs compliance if you're going to be importing a product to a particular country, right? Same thing applies in terms of duties and taxes, the values of how to calculate the duties and taxes, at least have an estimate of what is required for that. We're going to jump into especially customs clearance, duties, and taxes in this afternoon session. It's a bit of a longer session. We'll do a bit of activities on there using some online tools. But then for this start, I want you to be aware of these areas. Now, in terms of using a logistics service provider or logistics partner, that was the top one here. I said I'll come to it later. Oops, sorry. I said I'll come to it later. So I want to delve in a bit more. There are benefits of using a logistics service provider. If you hear me say LSP, that's what I'm referring to, logistics service provider. Because first and foremost, it can be confusing. So if you do want to work with a provider, ideally, it lets you focus on your core business, which is what you do best. And let someone that their 8 to 5 job is logistics, let them do that part, right? And there are ways of ensuring that even though you're incurring an additional cost in doing that, it ensures that you build that consistent relationship with your customers, right? For one, supporting business growth. So I'm just going to go through this section quickly. There we go. So supporting your business growth, maximizing your day, for instance. I think supporting business growth is familiar already. maximizing your day, which means that you can focus more on your business, focus more on selling your products, getting more buyers, and whoever needs to do the delivery, they do that part, right? The element of also being a brand ambassador, there is an effect, and I'm going to now use a DHL example. There is an effect when, especially in e-commerce, when customers buying a product from a digital platform, if I don't know the brand name, let's say Belacqua water, I'm in the US or I'm in South Africa, I don't know Belacqua, but I want to buy Belacqua. I see the website, everything looks good, but I don't trust it. However, they do see who is delivering the shipments. Oh, okay, I do trust whoever is delivering it. I trust they've done their due diligence. So sometimes it does help to kind of give you a step up. A lot of people, a great example of this is if anyone has bought from Shane, oh, I got it completely wrong. Anyone has bought from Shane. A lot of, I haven't because I'd never trusted it. And then I started to see who's delivering. And I'm like, these are my competitors. Sorry, this is now my logistics cap one. These are like, oh, okay, there's something happening over here. Same thing with AliExpress, Alibaba, all of that. All of a sudden, people are getting more comfort buying from them, even though it's so cheap, because of who is doing the delivery, right? So sometimes the service provider you will use could give you that one step up in terms of getting that validation from a potential buyer, especially on e-commerce elements. Yeah. Another thing in terms of simple preparation of shipment processes, staying focused on selling, and then customs clearance. Customs clearance can be a nightmare. I'm sure all of you have gone through that in some way or form or the other. No? Yes? Oh, it's been very smooth for everybody. That is, no? Okay. I love customs. No, genuinely, like if you're getting it right, it's a beautiful game. But then, yeah, it needs to be right on all sides of the pond, right? But then, yes, usually using LSP means that you can focus, the core thing, focus on your business. Let someone else deal with the headaches, right? Now, when it comes to logistics in itself, there are costs and there are hidden costs. And that's why the comments earlier about understanding your costs could really affect your business. Some of the normal costs you see, I believe someone mentioned warehouse, I mentioned warehousing, but someone said like storage or handling costs, all that kind of stuff. There's the normal administrative costs for doing the paperwork, costs of transportation, and you pay duties. It's like an iceberg at the top. The top of the iceberg is usually the smallest part of the iceberg. The real parts is sitting at the bottom. I know you can't see it too well, but then there are costs that are incurred if the freight classification is wrong. For example, and I'm going to use an example from DHL Express, if you bear with me. Yeah? There are 3 DHL Express experts here, so you can also disturb them if you want. In the sense that if your product is, let's use clothing. Let's Batakari. We all know the Batakari. So it is not heavy, but it is it's voluminous, right? And then you packing that and putting it in a box that is this big. You will not be charged for the weight of the Batakari. You'll be charged for the space it is taking. And a lot of folks don't understand it. Remember, let's go back to it again. Standardization, right? And you have the ULDs in the plane, so you have standardization on the containers, what's going into the box. You have in the planes also so remember that thing that looked like a semicircle that was going into the plane? Standardization, it's the space you're taking up. It could be small item, but it weighs a lot. They're not going to go for that space again, they're going to go for the weight, right? So in the same sense, sorry, say again? Exactly. So it becomes very important that the way you're classifying your products, the weight, the actual weight versus the declared weight versus the space you're taking and all of that kind of stuff, you need to get it right. That way you can price it the right way. Otherwise, it will come and bite you, this section here. You have the element of product return. Product return may or may not apply for certain, depending on your products, but you need to take into account that, especially if you're selling online, to build that trust relationship with your clientele, allowing the option that, you know what, the dress doesn't fit me anymore. Let me send it back. I know that they'll send it a new one again. Sometimes you can factor this in to your products. Some enterprises, like Amazon, for example, would use, you can send it back and we'll send a new one for you, but then you are responsible for paying the additional charges and all that kind of stuff, right? But then it needs to be factored in the sense that depending on who you're shipping to and they send a product back, if the product is coming back to you and you've not factored in pricing for product return, it eats into your profit margin. Damaged shipments. Well, I don't want a shipment, it was damaged. You're sending me cocoa, you're sending me chocolates, and the chocolate came and it's all melted. What's in my mind now is the King Spites, we're all familiar with the old King Spites structure, that you can break parts of it. And now it comes and it's a whole ball and everything is all over the place. I don't want that anymore, right? Again, that affects, and all of these things fall into that area of these hidden costs in your logistics chain that you may not notice. Now, this is not a holistic view, but it gives you some ideas to some of the things that would affect you. Now, again, I want to hear from you guys. Some of the costs that you didn't plan on, but you incurred. Anyone? Costs that you did not plan on, but you incurred. It brought your profits down. I can give another example if you want. So in a previous life, I was responsible for ground transportation for Southern and East Africa. Sent a truck up from South Africa, from Johannesburg to Lubumbashi, southern the DRC. On average, it should take 12 days. And we incurred something called standing time, demurrage. What this means is that, yes, okay, I heard a over there. So someone had a nightmare about that. 12 days moved to about 22, 24 days. And the standing time incurred was just north of $25,000. The reason why, and the thing is, it goes beyond just the standing time. It means that a driver, has anyone been to a border post before? Like an actual land border crossing around? Aflao, Elubo, yeah? Okay, perfect. Have you seen how it's like at the border post? It's not all nice and rosy, is it, right? This is Africa. It is not all nice and rosy. Now, imagine spending 10 days extra sleeping, eating, bathing, everything at that border post, right? So now it becomes a lot more expensive because now you need to pay for the hotel for the driver, you need to pay for food, and the truck is not working. So it's a bit of a nightmare, right? And if, depending on how strong labor laws are in the country, you may have a bit of an issue once the truck gets back because the driver's well-being was not factored in. That was a bit of a nightmare. Yes? Oh, okay. Any other nightmares? Okay, all good. Other costs, other things that pop up. Incorrect order fulfillments. Incorrect order fulfillments. Failing to take insurance into play because now certain things like damaged chocolates that I no longer want means that I need to pay for that. I incur that loss. Regulatory and compliance costs, because by failing to comply with regulation, just a quick ballpark. Anyone familiar with the new deforestation regulation coming to play? EU deforestation. Okay, you would be aware of it, but anyone else? No? Okay. There's a bit of a nightmare coming soon. Yeah. pretty much it's going to affect a lot of products coming out of Africa. So anyone shipping or doing products in the areas of cocoa, I think coffee, tea, sugar, what's the thing called? Even beef. There's an element of beef for the Latin Americans that they're lobbying heavily against. There's a lot of these things that would end up causing a lot of costs, so carrying costs for an entrepreneur. If you're a small business and you don't get it right, it could ground the business completely. So it's important that we understand these things and we get it right? Yeah, optimizing packaging and shipping, for example, also is another thing. Cool? Any thoughts? Ideas? I hope I didn't scare you guys, though. Good. All right, so then, Maurice, that kind of gives you a summary as to what logistics looks like, right? What's in logistics, what's going to go on in logistics, and so on. Some of the costs you should be aware of, some of the areas that you can use to optimize your logistics area. I'm going to hand over to my colleague Maurice here, and he's going to take you into how to identify the right logistics partner, the areas that you should question on, the areas that you should build on, and then we'll jump on from there. Cool.
Thank you, Max, for that informative section. Do you have any question for my colleague Max? And before I proceed, we have new colleagues in here, so I will let them do a brief introduction. They are also experts in this topic. So I have Henry to my right. He's the Grants Ops Manager for DHL Express. And we have Elliot, who is the Gateway Manager. You see our nice facility at the airport? Yeah, he's the manager there. So today we have a variety of expertise, and please gather all your questions because we have all the solutions for you here. Thank you. So, very important for us, that's the logistics transport partner. The main reason why we are all here is to ensure our product goes beyond Ghana border. And to ensure that goes perfectly well, you need the right logistics partner. And we are going to look at the things to look out for when you want to choose your logistic partner. Okay, thank you. So to choose the right logistic partner, we should ask ourselves these kind of questions, or whether this partner will be able to provide us this kind of options. First, we look at delivery options. The logistics partner you're looking at, what kind of delivery options do they have? Okay? These options depends on the kind of products you have, the kind of product you are dealing with, the kind of customers you are dealing with. Does this logistics partner able to provide those options? Okay, it's a very key, important question you need to ask yourself before you choose your logistic partner. The product you are having, the product you are shipping, the customer you have. Does this logistic partner, do they have the expertise? Do they have the range of equipment or anything to help you get this product to your customer? Okay. Secondly, we look at return option. My colleague mentioned it in the previous slides. We all receive products that wasn't the intention we had when we bought that product. We all get pissed and we want to take it back. We ask ourselves that question. Does your logistics partner make it easy for you, the shipper, and you, the customer, to be able to take that step? Can you return the goods back? Is it going to become that somewhere? Are you going to lose because of that option not being in existence for you? That's why we are saying it's one of the key things you should look out for when you're looking for a logistics partner. Things will not always go as rosy, okay? But if it happens, is the partner there? Are they skilled enough to be able to support you with that? Okay. We also look at pricing options. Does that logistics partner have the various range of prices that suits the kind of product you have? That suits the kind of the medium of transport you want? Does it suit what you want to give your customers? You all know the kind of customers you are looking out for. Okay. So it's very important that you pick a logistics partner that has that range of prices that will suit the customer and the product you have. Let's look at customer service option. we all know it's a hell when issues comes up. And or trying to cut costs and trying to optimize the limited resources we have. Does this your logistics partner have the capacity to manage queries or issues when it comes up? Okay. Is it that situation that when something comes up, you don't find your shipper anymore? They disappear. Then who is going to handle that medium between you and your customer? Who is going to be there for your customer 24/7? Okay, so picking your right logistics partner is very important when it comes to customer service option. It's something we should look at as business people. Tracking options, very key important aspect. The item that is going to your customer, does your customer have visibility on it? You as a shipper, you as a business person, do you have visibility on it? Do you know where your shipment is when your customer wants to know updates? Okay, you can go to sleep whilst you know your shipment is intact. You can go to sleep whilst you know that with a click, your customer knows exactly where their shipment is and what is happening to it. Okay, so our tracking options is also very important. The shipping options, I will not speak much about here because in our next slides we'll be going deeper into the shipping options. Okay, we have various shipping options, various mediums, due to respect to where you want to take your shipment and the kind of shipment you want. Okay, so it's very key we know the shipping options available to you, because when you know the shipping option available to you, you know the right logistics partner to go for. Before I go forward, I don't know if anyone has any question to ask about these things. Okay, so as I mentioned in the previous slide with the shipping options, brings us to our next slide, which talks about the logistics providers offer, what they offer, the several options they offer to you. You can see air freight, courier services, and postal services. I'm sure some of these are common to some of you, but don't worry, those who are not familiar with today, that's why we are here to explain this for you. The common thing about this is they all use the airspace. That is common about them. But I come to air freight. Air freight basically has to do with cargo. Generally, we call it cargo. And these are cargo that has unlimited weight. Okay, when you have huge sums of cargoes that you want to send outside, your best option usually is the air freight. Okay, air freight doesn't take much time, but it's not as fast as our next service, which is the courier services. And this is where one of our divisions in Ghana, the DHL vans you see around, they are not to advertise them, but they don't have any competitor. So courier services, in normal terms, we call it the express services. When you want it as quick as yesterday, they are the best option for you when you have a customer that has that need. That, okay, you need a shipment today, by tomorrow it should be wherever it is. The kind of service you should be looking out for is courier service. The postal service, it's a common name, I don't want to mention them, but when we say postal, I think we all know an example we use in Ghana. Postal services has kind of a limited weight that they can pick, but it takes, I will not say like forever, but it takes quite some time. So if you're a lover of patience, postal services, not even if your customer is a lover of patience, then I think postal services is what you should be looking at. So we use this to deep dive into the shipping options we have. So we go to transport costs. So we have when you have an option of air freights, transport costs for air freights. Okay, let me have all there so that it's easy to compare, to do the comparison. That makes it here. So air freights, when it comes to transport costs, as I mentioned, air freight has to do with cargo, and with this cargo, even though it's not as fast as the courier service and not as slow as the postal service, you see that you kind of have to spend more. But as the business person or the shipper, and knowing the kind of customer you want to work with, you should be able to identify their need and see which kind of option is okay for the customer. Probably you have a customer who's a bit patient, but also wants it fast. And you want to move larger number of shipments, then the air freight is the option for you. With the air freight, when it comes to the transit time, you can see you have between 3 to 8 days. 3 to 8 days, as compared to the courier we mentioned earlier on, is 1 to 4. 4 being the maximum, or let's say worst case scenario. We can say you can depend on the kind of customer you're looking for. If the customer is an instant customer who wants the thing as fast as yesterday, courier service is okay for you. For postal service, it varies. It varies the kind of country it's going to, kind of regulations. But I think, as I said, if you have a customer with a level of patience, you can look at postal service. It comes to tracking capacity. With air freight and courier services, tracking is something you can do. But with the courier service, tracking is, like we say, 100%, because with the courier service, it's kind of a managed end-to-end. Okay, so if you are lucky to have a company like DHL, we manage the end-to-end of it. So at any point in time, we can get updates on your shipment for you. But when it comes to air freight, depending on wherever it's going, there could be some partners in there who are helping us do the work. So probably we need to relay with those partners and come back to you. So that might bring in a little time, but at the end, we'll still get your information for you. That is why you see you don't have 2 terms there. But with postal service, you need to wait till you are contacted by the TV end before. When it comes to weight limit, as I mentioned earlier on the air freight section, we don't have a limit as much as the plane can take with the cargo side. That's why we use the huge volumes for it, for the air freight capacity. But with the courier services, the maximum you can go for is 1,000 kg. That's 1 ton. So depending on the customer and the need that they require, you can look at those. And for postal services, it goes in this small box, 50 kg, and you can't go more than that. So if you have a shipment which is more than 50 kg, it means you need to send it, let's say, in batches. And I don't know if your customer will be happy with that. So the shipping type. So for air freight cargo, everything goes. Once it's legal, that's the underlying word. Once it's legal, everything goes for us for air freight cargo. And for courier services, depending on the restrictions of the country is going with, as well, just like the air freight, everything goes as well within the weight. And for postal service, there are a lot of restrictions because of the mediums they are going through. So it also helps you make the right decision on the shipping option to go for. For security, air freight cargo, you can see you are covered with security. With the courier services, you are double covered because of where we locate ourselves. And for postal services, I think we need to add some prayers to it once your shipments go. And for the product return, with the air freight and the cargo services, as I mentioned, if there's something wrong with the product that goes to your customer and you need to bring it back, as a business person, as a shipper, you should be able to have have a comfortable mind that in case it happens, you have a logistics provider that can handle that for you and your customer, for you to be at peace. I don't know. Do you have any question related to this and the shipping option? Yes. Please, your name and before you speak.
I'm Mabel Brago too. Okay. I wanted to ask, when you say shipment type, you mean the item being shipped?
Where?
Shipment type.
The type of shipment.
You mean the item being shipped, so
shipped.
anything at all?
That's why I use the underlying word, legal.
Anything legal, anything at all that is legal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you should also check the destination country where your customer is going, if it's also allowed. Probably it's okay for Ghana, but not the country.
Okay. Yeah. And then my second one is the product return.
Okay.
Is it a cost that would be borne by the logistics provider or by the manufacturer? Or it would be an agreement between...
Okay, let me let Max handle that. He's more into that.
All right, thanks. So, sorry. Okay. So, in terms of shipment return, it's largely depending on the contract you have with your logistics service provider, right? Most LSPs tend to have a shipment return policy, assuming you subscribe to it. Now, the cost of it, more often than not, is borne on you, the shipper, or the consigner, right? However, the only reason you have to look at the conditions for the shipment return. Is it because of a manufacturing defect? Is it because of a damage or maybe a sizing issue? Say, assuming it's a product that has size matters in that sense, extra large, small, all that kind of stuff. Because in more often than not, the consumer, or the consignee, the buyer, would pay for that also. They are doing that because they value your product. So if this cup is too small and I want a bigger cup, I'm not advertising any cups here, but then I want a bigger cup, I can send it back and say, hey, I like your product, but send me a larger one, right? So it also comes down to how are you communicating these kind of, as we put it, value additions to your customer base, right? So the cost will be borne by you, the shipper, or the owner of the product, but then it could be passed on to your customer or your buyer. And more often than not, they pay for it. Hope that helps. A lot of the shipment returns on Amazon, you are paying for it. It wasn't free.
Thank you for that, Max. Do you have any other questions from anyone? Please. Can you please pass the mic to? Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. I would like, what if the defect was caused by handling by the logistic company who takes care of that cost?
Okay, so as part of our shipment, yeah, we have an extra value-added service called the insurance. Yeah, and okay, Henry would like to.
Hello? All right. So, like Maurice was attempting to say, as part of choosing your right logistics partner, you need to look out for a partner who has that shipping insurance option. Okay. And again, I mean, from research, a lot of customers will prefer to deal with a company who has a return policy. And you ride on that not so because you want to encourage returns, right? But like Max was saying, you need to make sure you are standardize your product. So if you have it in sizes, I know I wear a size 7, so there's no way maybe a size 7 I'm ordering will not fit, unless you are not manufacturing in that size. So, you know, in as much as you want to have a return policy, as a business, you want to make sure, I mean, most of the time everything is right. But should you have those one-offs, there's a way I can return it. So like you're saying, it's an uncontrollable incident. Maybe you just slipped and it fell. And then now you can fall on the insurance. Yeah. And because we also know that that also comes as a cost to us, we also have internally trainings and other stuff that we do to make sure that whatever we are handling, we are not throwing your shipment into a van, we are not kicking boxes in the warehouse, you know, you have CCTVs and everything, so all these things are checked. So in as much as you have that in your business, it's not to add on costs, but to make sure that you're doing the right thing and the customers are happy.
So also, I think I heard something about damages in terms of if there's damage during transit. We've heard it. The next session after this, we'll jump into that in terms of conventions, right? So shipping conventions and so on.
Thank you for that. So with all the knowledge we've gathered in this section, we are. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. So hello. Oh, so I didn't see any option concerning maybe through the seas, transportation through the sea, or we don't consider that.
No. So we have the sea option, which is the ocean freight.
Right.
Yeah. But based on the background they give us, this is actually what we designed for. This. Yeah. So because of the background that was given to us, that's what this was designed for you. But we actually have the ocean shipment, which ocean takes quite some time. The cost is lesser. Yeah. And the processes are not as, yeah, but it's equally.
So yes, exactly what Maurice said. It is, ocean will take some time. It's a little bit cheaper. And depending on, usually it is larger enterprises that ship using ocean because it's a volumes game, right? And for it to be economical, you want to play the volumes game also because you're buying space, right? So what we see is more often than not, SMEs don't play the ocean game. But then if you want more information, absolutely, we can assist. It's not just us, there are other players around that also do ocean. But then if you do want some information here, we have the expertise here to assist you. Yeah, thanks.
And not just ocean, we have road freight, cross-border, in our part, but based on the capacity that was given us. Yeah. Have another question? Okay, please do.
Yeah, no, thanks for the insightful session. I'm just wondering, knowing that we have a lot of chocolatiers in the room, is Ocean an option for chocolate, let's say finished chocolate to UK, EU, Africa?
I actually don't know the perishable period with respect to it, but for ocean, it takes quite some time. In our years of service in ocean, I've never seen. The only thing I've seen is yam.
Yeah, because chocolates, whilst it's I'm going to assume these are finished product of chocolates, right? And yes, shipping in the bars, like the ready to go straight into FMCG, right? In that sense, you don't want to put it in ocean because it's very delicate. You need the right temperature, otherwise it melts, and it needs to be controlled in a particular way, otherwise it breaks, right? Best option for you would be if you're shipping in boxes, like let's say 2 tons, 1 ton at a time in boxes. Air freight could work for you. If you have, a really demanding customer, sorry, I'm not familiar with any ones in the UK, but then say Walgreens in the US, for example, or Walmart or the dollar shop, they may go with an express service. So then you have a box of 50 kilos of chocolates, you express it straight away, they get it within the next day or two, right, straight away. But because chocolate is delicate, easily breaks, or it's fragile, easily breaks, and it's temperature controlled. You need to temperature control it, otherwise you are going to damage your product, right? Exactly. And it will not be presented to your customer the way you saw it leave your manufacturing. So ideally, not ocean. Ocean typically like yam. Yam is, but even yam, you need to be conscious of it. So you want to stack the container and put, sometimes people would put airbags. Airbags, how can I explain? Yeah, like airbags prevents, if you've seen what actually happens in the ships, it is not, it's a nightmare.
Thank you for that, Max. And a very important part of this, choosing your logistics partners, is in recent times, customers are also being environmental cautious, looking at partners or looking at suppliers who have the environment in mind and in everything they do. So we talk about sustainability. So in looking out for a logistics partner to use, you should also consider that because I can't speak for others, but for the company I work with DHL, environmental sustainability is key for us. And it's something we sell to customers as well, especially looking at cutting down emissions and all that, with the introduction of electric cars for deliveries and all that. We also working with partners who use fuel-friendly, exactly. So it's also something you can sell to your customer as well as. So we are not just bringing to you, but we are bringing it to you and not damaging the environment. Okay, because customers are becoming very cautious and very sensitive with sustainability. So it's something you should look at when choosing your logistics partner. Yeah, thank you. So we are going to have a quick activity based on the knowledge we got from the previous. Based on the knowledge we got from the previous section, and with this activity, I think some of my colleagues will help me out here. We are going to divide ourselves into groups, okay? And with these groups, what we are going to do is, with all the knowledge we took from the previous section, we are going to discuss which mode of transport, okay, Okay. I think we should do that. So I don't know our number here. Let's go here. 1 to 4. We count 1 to 4, and all the ones will be grouped in 1. Then all the 2s will be grouped in 2. Then all the 3s, same as we do. So probably identify. Can start from where? If you can have all the ones in one group, all the 2s in one group. Okay, I think we can have it in lanes. Sorry for the inconvenience, but it's very important for this activity. No, we are just. So the ones can come to the front, the 2s and the 4 exactly. It's all good, we need to move our body. Three is on the third lane. Four is on the last lane.
So for each group, just before I start your conversations, you wanna switch to the. Before you start the conversations, just make sure you select someone that will speak on behalf. Yeah.
Okay, so with the groups, so depending on the kind of industry or business you are in, with the groups that we have, we are going to discuss. So using your everything you learned from the previous section, you are going to discuss the transportation mood, which is suitable for the kind of business you are in now. That will be the activity we have. And in addition, we need every group to choose a group captain who actually sum it up and tell us whatever you discussed as a group. So I think we have about, is it 10 minutes? 15 minutes for this activity before we go on our break. We don't want this to be between you and your break, so I will try to redo it. Fine, so I think from now we can start. Yeah. So yeah, please have in mind, depending on the kind of product you have, so you know the kind of weights you carry on your product. Looking at security, looking at how fast your customer wants it, the visibility that they're tracking, and all that, and the possibility of return in case there's an issue. So have all that in mind whilst you discuss the mode of transport which suits the kind of industry you are in for now. So I think we have 15 minutes. Thank you. I think we should be wrapping up where we have just under 3 minutes now. So the class captains can be getting ready. Okay, we should be wrapping up now. I don't want to use the ascending order, so any group which is ready to present. Do you have any group ready with their class captain? Group 4? Group 2? Group 2 is ready. Okay, can I please have your attention? Now, that's why I was asking if you are ready. You are ready. You are ready. Okay. Group 2 said they were ready first, so please let's allow them. So you can even pick things from there. Thank you. So we have group 2 presenting. And
thank you. So for group 2, the product we selected was shea butter. The packaging is, it comes in 50 kg container.
Please, we want to see your handsome face. So can you
all right.
And every captain has approximately 2.5 minutes to present. So please be concise about your solution.
Okay, thank you. I'm Kizito, presenting for Group 2. So, like I said, the product we selected is shea butter. The packaging comes in 50 kg container. And at a go, we ship 1,000 boxes. The option we went for was the air freight because of obviously the quantity of boxes, containers we are shipping, and then the weight. Also, we are looking at pricing. We think that freight offers the best price for us. And then we are able to also track our shipment. Also, the nature of product requires that the temperature is somehow regulated. So we think that provides that kind of service. And then handling, we believe that freight offers the best handling for our products so that it doesn't get damaged during the process of transporting it to the customer. And then finally, we also want to be able to have a return policy just in case the container is open or the share somehow leaks of the container is returned by the customer. So we believe that the freight offers us the best option for a final customer. Thank you.
That's air freight, right?
Air freight, yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Captain. Okay. Group 1. Please have the mic. Tell us your name.
My name is Esther Makafui. So for our group, we picked 3 different products. So we have chocolate. So we are picking air freight. The reason being that chocolate is fragile and we believe it has to get to the customer on time so that the temperature will be maintained. So we believe we should use air freight for chocolate. And even though it's really expensive, the customers will actually understand because we know chocolate is a luxurious good. Okay. And with shea butter, we picked air freight, assuming it's 10 kg. We believe they can use air freight, but if it's 100 kg, we think they can use shipping. And that one will be cost effective. And the third product is coconut oil. With coconut oil too, they can also use air freight. But if they are producing in large quantities, if they are shipping in large quantities, they can actually use the shipping by ship. Yes, please.
And ocean?
Yes, please.
Okay, by the sea.
Yes. And that one will be cost effective also. Yes. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Which group is ready? 3 or 4?
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. I stand here on behalf of Group 3, and our product is quite unique. Actually, we chose fish. Fish, okay. So, we have a lot of chocolatiers here, so we actually wanted to go a bit off the mark. So with the fish, we export dry fish, as in powder and in its dry form. Okay, so we export in cage in 500 grams, 80 grams, and we also have 250 grams. And also we can also export as huge as 51 kg. So when it comes to the weight, I think in the field of standardization, we are okay. And when we move to security with the fish, you can also bear with us. Fish is less perishable as compared
sorry to cut in. So which mood are we using?
Okay, so we chose the air freight. Even with the fish, almost all the logistical providers can actually not be of a problem. So with the fish, we can go for almost all the 3, trust me. But the thing is, it depends. If we want to ship outside, we go for the air freight. And also, if it is within Ghana, we can just go for the courier service. And we don't have much problem as compared to the chocolate people. And when it comes to security, I think fish is less perishable compared to the chocolates. So we also save there. But our major issue has to do with the cost. Yes, the cost. The cost. So that's our major challenge. But then we do negotiate with our clients and see if we can all meet each other halfway. Yeah. With the timing too, it depends. It depends. If our client needs it like as in urgent, we can go for the air freight if the client is outside Ghana. And if it is within Ghana, we can use any courier service means. And now we have a lot aside DHL. We even have both other courier services around. Yeah. Okay, so that's ours.
Thank you very much, Group 3. And last but not the least, Group 4. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. So I'm part of Group 4. I'm speaking for Group 4 today. So the main products that our group members engage or produce are chocolates and dried fruits. Pardon me, the face is very cold, so I'm shivering. So we chose air freights for our mode of transportation because it's more secure and fast. As for the cost, it's entirely borne by the receiver. So we are in a safe space. Our group does not like to take risks, so we give everything to the receiver. So the transit time like I said earlier on, we don't like to take risks, so we prepare the products before the expected time of the customer to avoid inconveniences. The tracking time, we worked with DHL and other companies that work with DHL as well as the Ghana Post Office. The weight varies based on the order of the customer. It's secure, as said by the DHL representatives. And there's an insurance paid which is paid by the company, just in case something happens along the line. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Group 4. My colleague here has a little souvenir or gift for all our group captains. We can't have it for all, but we know you all supported them. So just to say thank you for your participation. Okay, so we take a scenario or example. Thank you very much for the activities anyway. We are all awesome and we are happy you understood the concept. Yeah. So we look at Gymshark. Gymshark was a British university student in 2012. And this UK-based manufacturer online retail sells and high-quality fitness apparels, like gym items. And it has evolved to become UK's fastest growing brands with the fastest growing sales with 300 employees. And this is based on using our service, the express option service. You can see that shopping cart value increased from £41 to 70. Customers who are willing to pay express delivery, that is those who want it immediately. Okay, you give them the option. You don't know, probably he wants it. You give the customer the option, and this is 50%. And due to these options he used, he increased his yearly sales by 210 by using the right logistics partner. Okay, so this will wrap up my section. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Then I'll hand over to my colleague Max to close this up.
Thank you very much, Morris. And actually, Gymshark, we need to update these numbers because Gymshark has gone through the roof. How many of us are familiar with Gymshark now? Anyone? Yeah. Gymshark has, like, the performance of late has just been insane. And it speaks to the power of e-commerce, it speaks to the power of the internet, but also delivering on your customers' requirements. How was the last session? You have fun? Yeah? Very good. Awesome. So I'm just going to wrap up these elements over here, and I'm going to jump on a couple of things. We began by looking at doing an introduction. We spoke about the art of logistics. We went into how to identify and choose the right logistics service provider. I hope you got some good insights in that area. And now we are the closing proceedings. It's not a closing for the day. Very important, I say that again. It's not a closing for the day, the closing for this module. So you all have pens, you all have books, and I want you to be able to write down just for 3 minutes, right? A couple of things that you're taking away from this first module, speaking about the art of logistics in itself. And there's a couple of things that I want you to probably reflect on this. We're going to just do this for like 3 minutes, and then we will have coffee, because I love coffee. We're going to have some coffee, tea, a couple of snacks. Take a picture downstairs, because pictures are important. And then we'll come back and jump into the second session before we do lunch, all right? So a couple of questions I wanted you to think about. For one, what are some of the crucial aspects within logistics that you can use to your advantage? Now, please apply this to your business, or think of your business whilst you're writing this down, right? A couple of things, other things I want you to think about is some of the most suitable transportation modes for you. Are you actually using the right mode right now? Right? Could you add new options, or do you need to adjust it further? And finally, if you've considered e-commerce logistics costs, the true e-commerce logistics costs into your pricing models. Right? I'll just give it 3 minutes. It seems like most of us are. Oh, okay, just a few more. Okay, I think we're all done. Fantastic. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us in the first module. If you have any questions at this point, still going to be here, but maybe let's do the pictures first, snacks, and then we pick up our snacks, we can come back in here, and then we'll be here if you have any questions from this first module. Yep.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Facilitator. Please, let's put our hands together for our facilitators. They've done extremely well. They've done extremely well. Like he rightly said, this is not ending the workshop for today. We are break, and then we would be back to continue with the second session. Is that okay? Okay, so do now is that we would go to the first floor for a group photograph. First floor for a group photograph. And then after that, we would all move to the 10th floor, right on top of this place. That is where we have the conference, the 10th floor conference room. We would go our snacks over there, and then we would be back to this place to continue with the second session. Okay? Are we all in agreement? Okay. For those of us who are attending the Salon du Chocolat, please just wait, behind. I have something to tell you. So just spend some 2 minutes with me here whilst the others, go down there. If you want to use the washroom, you know where the washrooms are. Do all that before you come back in for the second session. Thank you very much. We have officers who direct you to the first floor where the pictures are going to be taken, and then we'll go to the 10th floor, pick our snacks, and then we'll come back right to this place to continue the second session. Thank you very much.